Talking of dream teams with this tangle, this mess that President Obama has got into, particularly with Eric Holder, his Attorney General. What is interesting about this is I had Jay Carney on recently, and we were talking about these three scandals: the IRS, the Benghazi scandal, and the fact that the Attorney General's office were targeting journalists at Associated Press. Now we know Fox News as well. This is what Jay Carney said to me at the time. Did you ever think you'd have to deal with three scandals like this at the same time?
I dismiss the premise, the idea that these are scandals. One is a total concoction by Republicans on the first hand, you know, and the other, I mean, depends on the IRS issue. Absolutely. Inappropriate behavior, wrong activity by personnel by the IRS, and action needs to be taken, is being taken, and will be taken.
So the obvious question, Margaret Hoover, are they scandals?
Yes, they're scandals. All three of them are scandals. They all rank, as Jay Carney spun it accurately, he also reflected what the American people are saying. The American people are saying they're less concerned about Benghazi, they're deeply concerned about the IRS scandal, and they're increasingly concerned about what's happening with the AP reporters, but then more so even as it has spread more broadly.
Right. Now, here's what I would say to you. I agree with what you've just said. I think they're all fairly scandalous. However, the American public doesn't agree with it. In a Quinnipiac University poll, May 22nd and 28th, what is a higher priority for President Obama, dealing with the economy or investigating these controversies? 73% would prefer him to focus on the economy.
But that same poll...
How scandalized can they be if that's what they want him to do?
Okay, so the same poll, just to your point, the same poll says 76% of Americans think that a special prosecutor should be appointed in the IRS case. So clearly they care about it. But to your larger point, I think... the American people are smart. They're able to distinguish between their approval rating of the president. And by the way, there is no clear connection between the president and the IRS scandals right now.
That's the point.
And by the way, Ronald Reagan was called the Teflon president. Why? Because none of the scandals from the second administration
but Margaret,
so there is a...
Let me come to Mark, because here's what's interesting again. Another poll, the CNN poll of polls. How is Obama handling his job as president? Approved 49%, disapproved 46%. This has actually gone up.
Yeah.
So despite all these scandals, and I do believe all of them in their own way have been pretty scandalous, and we can debate that in a moment.
I agree with scandals, yeah.
Why is he getting more popular through this period rather than less?
Because the American people know that even if they're scandals, they're not presidential scandals. They have nothing to do with him, number one. And number two, it's also a referendum on how they feel the Republican Party has dealt with these scandals. And I'm going to use air quotes. In other words, they see Benghazi as an issue that needs to be investigated, but they also see the way the right wing has attempted to convince us that this is the scandal of all scandals that is connected to President Obama. They look at the IRS scandal and they say, okay, well, this is a problem. That clearly bad actions have taken place here. But the president was not sitting in the White House figuring out how to take down the Tea Party through taxation.
Or they're willing to reserve judgment until there's further evidence.